Hey y'all, what's up? It's me back on my channel with another video. If you guys haven't seen my finding out I was pregnant at 17, go ahead and watch that, and then that way you guys could be all caught up before you guys watch this video, because this video is gonna be my labor and delivery story. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so it all started on rain. Just kidding, bitch. It was nice because we live in Phoenix, Arizona. You know, you gotta get with the program. Wouldn't say that it would be like a complications throughout my delivery and like labor and stuff. If you're going into terms and like scientific terms and like scienceology and stuff. The doctor told me, shout out to you, Dr. Howard. Woo, woo. Okay, but so basically my doctor told me that my cervix was not opening and that I was gonna have to get induced. So my cervix was supposed to be like this, but my cervix, every time he would check it from 35 weeks and so forth, it would be like this, like that. Like it was not open one slightly bit. The doctors were like, so like, because you're like very small, which I kind of was at the time, like, but they're like, okay, so you're like too small, your waist is too narrow, you're not gonna be able to, if you go past the 40 weeks, you're not gonna be able to give birth through like your vagina, you know. If I continued on like being pregnant after 40 weeks, so say I gave birth when I was 42 weeks, I was gonna have to go into an emergency C-section because my baby was gonna be a big baby. I mean, he already was a big baby. He was fat. The moral of the story was, if I go past the 40 weeks, I was gonna have to have a C-section, and a bitch was not gonna get a fucking C-section. You know, they told me that I'm gonna have to get induced. If you don't know what inducing is, basically like they make your body, like the doctors make your body go into labor without your body going into labor, like naturally. So like what it is like they give you like a little pill, and you know, like it makes you have contractions and like speed up the process, you know, but your water don't break it. Okay, so I was gonna be 40 weeks on July 4th, but on July 2nd I was supposed to go in and get induced at 8:30 at night. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have the baby July 2nd, because I didn't want to have a 4th of July baby, because everybody was gonna call him Cracker Baby, Baby Cracker, freaking fireworks, and American Baby, and this and that. I was like, no, I'm not gonna have that. So I wanted to have him potentially before or after the 4th of July. Just my luck, he was born on the 4th of July. I got a call July 2nd, like the day I was supposed to get induced, saying that they weren't gonna be able to induce me. You could just imagine, like, they tell you you're gonna give birth this day, that it's gonna be through like inducement, and then you can't, and they call you saying that you can't, you can't, like, you just can't, like, they can't do it, they can't do it. So I was like, okay, whatever, just call me whenever you guys can. I had already had a doctor's appointment for July 3rd to like see like what's going on and shit. So I was like, oh, okay, since I'm not gonna get induced on July 2nd, I'm gonna just go to my doctor's appointment like as if normal. So we were at the doctor's appointment. We were waiting for my doctor to like call my name and like call me up and like check me. As we were waiting in the waiting room, me and my mom and my little sister, we got the call saying, hey bitch, you could come and we could get induced. Lucky for me, my like the OBGYN office was right here, and then literally across the street was the hospital that I was gonna give birth at. So I was like, okay, I'm on my way, I'll be there in like 2 minutes. And they're like, haha, you're so funny. Bitch, I was there in 2 minutes because I was literally like right across the street. So like I did all the paperwork. They like took me to my room, they like checked me, I took off my underwear, and then I called my baby daddy. I'm like, yo, it's going down, like you gotta, like, it's going down, like I'm about to pop out your son. Gave me the pill, and every 30 minutes I had to go and walk. Labor and delivery floor, it was pretty small, and like there were certain doors that you couldn't go through. There were certain doors that if you went through they would lock and you can't get out. We were literally doing circles, me and my baby daddy, every 30 minutes, because they said that every 30 minutes I have to get up and walk so that like the contractions could like get closer together, my water could break, and bloop, 24 hours later, still no baby. Okay, no baby. Okay, no baby. My son was not out of my stomach, and I didn't have my stomach on flat anymore. Okay, so I was pissed. And so then at around like 7 in the morning, my doctor came and he was like, so they gave you the pill, like you're induced, induced. Checked me. A bitch was only dilated 2 centimeters. 2. So after 24 hours and like walking every 30 minutes, like taking the pill, I was only dilated 2 centimeters. And you're supposed to open 8 centimeters before you can start like pushing, you know? And then 10 centimeters is like, bitch, you're ready, like he gonna pop out. But my baby, he was being a little stubborn, you know, his stubborn self. He's right there, by the way. But yeah, so my baby was a little stubborn. He didn't want to come out of hibernation. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So he was like, and your water hasn't broke either. So they broke my water for me at 7:30. Insert picture here. I'm gonna blur out my man's face because I don't know if he wants to be in my videos or not. So they got around like 7:30 or like 8. They broke my water. And, you know, I was like, oh my god, okay, so he should be coming anytime soon. Like, my water broke. He already knows the drill, you know? Like, it's gonna be like a movie. My baby daddy and me, we were just like waiting and waiting and waiting. And then, boom, I got contractions. Like, I started feeling them. Like, they were like, they were the most painful things that I have ever gone through. They were like period cramps times 10 on steroids. And they weren't even like 2 minutes apart. They were like back to 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 back. I was making it rain contractions basically because 9:30 is when I got the epidural, because I was like, no, fuck it. If these contractions hurt, like him like expanding my cauliflower, is gonna hurt 10 times worse than these fucking contractions on steroids. So I said no. I told my baby daddy, I was like, baby daddy, I'm gonna call him baby daddy because I don't know if he wants his business out there, but I was like, baby daddy, go and get the nurse because I can't. Like, I have not slept for 24 hours and those contractions weren't helping. Every time I was like, they were just hurting. Like, it was not okay. So I told him, I was like, baby daddy, go and get the nurse. Tell the nurse that I need to get this damn epidural because your son, not only is he being stubborn and the contractions hurt, but like he needs to hurry up and get out of here. So I told him, he went, he got the nurse came in, she was like, what's wrong, is everything okay? And I was like, I just need to get the epidural. Like, I have not slept for 24 hours and these contractions ain't helping. And then she saw the contraction monitor. Hold on. I was like, I need to get the epidural. Like, these contractions, like, I'm just not having it. Like, they can't, like, no. Like, no. Okay, and then she looks over at the contraction machine and she sees that they're back to back to back to back. If only I kept the receipts, you would have known. She was like, okay. And she went to go and get, like, because there's like a specific person that does the epidural. She was like, okay, so I'm gonna go notify him right now. He's with another patient and he'll come here right after you. And I was like, okay. So the anesthesiologist comes in like, I want to say 10-15 minutes later, I don't know for sure. So the nurse made my baby daddy's dad get out of the room, my mom get out of the room, and my baby daddy's mom get out of the room. So it was just me, my baby daddy, the nurse, and the anesthesiologist. They had me lean forward. The nurse was in front of me. She was like kind of holding me up. She was making sure that my shoulders stayed like this, but I was leaning forward so that they could get my spine. And then they gave me a pillow to hug. And then my baby daddy, he's so sweet. I don't know if you could see, but so he was like doing this. He was like, you got this, baby, like it's almost over. Like, he was like basically like telling me that I could do this, you know, because like it was fucking painful, because like one wrong move when they put the epidural in your spine and bitch, I'm paralyzed. So I was hugging the pillow, the nurse was in front of me making sure my shoulders were straight, and then it didn't hurt, honestly. Like, it just felt like a little scratch, like somebody like dug their nail into you and just scratched. That's how it felt. So my baby daddy, he was like caressing me. The nurse was like rubbing on my shoulders, making sure I'm comfortable, and I was hugging on the pillow. And then they did it, and then bada bing. 2 minutes later, I did not feel no contraction, and I was finally able to sleep. I finally fell asleep, and then I was like, okay, my water's broke. I got the epidural. I wasn't feeling anything. I could finally sleep, so I fell asleep. I only fell asleep for like an hour or two because I woke up again because like the epidural was not doing its job. Like, I was still like, with the epidural, like you could feel the contractions but you don't feel pain. But like with the epidural, for me, you know, I wasn't one of those lucky of the bunch. So for me, the epidural, I was feeling the contractions, and on a scale of 1 to 10, the contractions were like a 4, but before they were a 10, you know. So like I was still like, ooh, ooh. Like, my legs are asleep, so I can't be getting up and going to the bathroom, right? So I had a catheter. You can only imagine. It was a 32-hour labor and a 10-minute delivery. Okay, so it's already going on hour 26, so it was already like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And Like, my son was being so stubborn, y'all. Like, when I tell you who is being stubborn, like, a bitch was only open 5 centimeters after 26 hours. Like, that's nothing. Like, that's nothing. And, like, I was just like, oh my god. Like, I was just so tired and out of it. And I wasn't able to eat anything because they're like, okay, so, like, if the inducement doesn't work, we're gonna have to go into emergency C-section. So I wasn't allowed to eat anything. I was only allowed to drink water, chew on the ice, and have like apple juice and like drinks and stuff, you know. I was only able to drink stuff, but I wasn't able to like have solid foods, only ice, because like, oh, it melts, you know. I was starving, I was tired, I was out of it. I just wanted him out. I was done. By hour 26, I was only open 5 centimeters. Everybody comes, you know. My dad came, my brother came, my little sister came, my mom went back home because my mom and my baby daddy stayed with me overnight. Because I don't know, the hospital was like so dumb. Like, they weren't gonna let my baby daddy spend the night with me because he was 18 at the time and I was 17, you know. I was a minor, so unless an adult like my mom, my dad, or his mom and dad stayed with us, then he was able to stay. So my mom, as I said, my mom left, and then my baby daddy's dad came back, my baby daddy's mom came back, my brother's best friend, my skillet, you know, my homegirl Janasia, she came by for a few too, you know. Shout out to her, telling me like, it's okay, you got this, girl, you got this. All throughout that time, it was already like 8, and then I just felt like it was 8 and I just couldn't breathe. So I was just like, oh my god. So I called my new nurse. Can't breathe, like I'm having trouble breathing. And then she looks at the monitor, she was like, well, your breathing percentage is okay, like you could breathe. And I was like, okay, I know what the machine says, but I know my body, like I can't breathe. Like I feel like I can't breathe, like I'm like breathing, but I feel like my lungs aren't getting the oxygen needed in order to survive. So she gave me the oxygen mask, and I was out of it too because I was sleep deprived. My son was being stubborn, he didn't want to come out, I was tired of sleep, and I was just out of it. Okay, because I couldn't get up, I was just laying there, and I couldn't move to my side, I was just laying straight on my back, and I hate laying on my back. So I was just out of it. I just wanted to get up, I just wanted to go home, but you know, I couldn't. So I was just out of it, and then she gave me the mask, and I was just like, with the mask, I was like, I had my brother bring my laptop, we were watching Netflix, but yeah, and then like at 8, like I said, I wasn't able to breathe, and then like I felt something, and by felt something I mean like pain. My contractions were coming back because I had gotten the epidural at 7 in the morning, and then it was already 8 at night, so it was like a good 12-13 hours, and like the epidural only like functions for like a short amount of time, so it was already 13 hours, and like the contractions were coming back fast, hard, and like demolishing me. I was like, I could feel everything, like the epidural, it's like wearing off, like I can't, like no. He like checked me, see how much I've dilated, because once you've passed 5 centimeters, you can't get the epidural anymore. Lucky for me, a bitch was still 5 centimeters. Like you can only imagine. So like when the doctor came to check me at like 7 in the morning, 13 hours later, I was still 5 centimeters. So I was like, okay, whatever, as long as I can still get the epidural. The anesthesiologist came back, gave me the 2nd dose of my epidural, but it just felt different because the 1st dose, I was just cold. Like I was like shaking in my bed. I was like shaking. The 2nd dose, I was thinking something's wrong, but I was like, oh, it's probably because I already had the 1st dose and like I got used to it, so probably the 2nd dose is nothing, right? Okay. So I finally was able to go back to sleep, and then the nurse came back like at around 9:15. Because I had told my baby daddy, I was like, something don't feel right. You know, like, I don't know, like, I felt like pressure on my coliflor. Like, something doesn't feel right, so go get the nurse. And then the nurse came, I was like, I'm feeling pressure. Like, during this time, I had, like, that big old, like, yoga ball thing that's, like, a snowman, basically. Like, it goes big, skinny, and then big. So, I had that, and then she kept moving me to my sides and moving me to my sides. So, she took the ball out and, like, okay, you're 8 centimeters now. I was like, I looked at my baby daddy, I was like, you ready? He was like, I'm ready. I was like, Mom, you ready? She was like, I'm ready. Okay, we're gonna do a little trial push. I did a little trial push. She could already see my son's head. So she like gathers up like everything. She calls my doctor. He got there at 10, I wanna say. He got there at 10. And then like he had to like get everything set up. His people came, the nurse came, like the 2 people, I don't know, 2 people that were doing, they weren't even doing anything, they were just in the room. I think they were just there for like the cleanup and the setup. So like the doctor, he was like putting his hat thing, his mask, his arms, his shoes, his pants and everything, right? So By the time it was already like 10:09, right? Okay, so it was already 10:09, and then I was doing like little child pushes, and then they could see it, and then I got set up again, put my legs on the things again, and then he was like, okay, push. But a bitch couldn't breathe. They took my oxygen mask off, right? But they would only give me like a 5-second breather, and a bitch couldn't breathe, so I was just like, so like I would push, and then there's like, okay, break, and then I'll be like, and he's like, push again, and I'm like, ugh. So I couldn't breathe. So I just let it all out. I didn't care. If you know what I meant by that, okay, then you know. I think I only pushed like 5 or 6 times, because I started pushing at like 10, like started pushing, like actually like holding it for like 8 to 10 seconds. It was at like 10:10. I think I only pushed like 5 or 6 times, and my son came out. Dun dun. This picture, I look like I'm in so much pain, like I'm like disgusted by my son, but I wasn't disgusted by my son. I was just in so much pain because the epidural wore off, like I said, so I felt everything. So when people be like, oh, did you get the epidural? I'm like, no, had a natural, you know, no epidural, you know, because the bitch felt everything. That's why I tell people that I didn't get the epidural, because I felt every pain. I felt my cauliflower expand. So she was like this, she was a little virgin cauliflower, and then she started expanding. I felt all of this. After like the second push, I stopped and I looked at my baby. I was like, can you see his head? Can you see his head? You can see his head. You can see his hair. Does he have a lot of hair? And then my baby was like, yeah, I can see his head. I can see his hair. He has a lot of hair. So I was like, okay. Because my baby daddy, shout out to him. There's a lot of dudes that they'll faint or they'll just get disgusted by it. My baby daddy, I give him props, 10 out of 10, you know, because he was holding my legs, him and my mom. So he was on my left side, my mom was on my right side. They were holding my legs, and my baby daddy was like looking, right? He was looking, like he saw everything. He saw all the blood. He saw his son's head come out. He saw his son's neck, shoulders. Yeah, basically he saw everything. I couldn't see anything because they put like a little towel over me. I couldn't see anything, but my baby daddy, he was a team player. He took one for the team. I was like, so he's done. He's like, I'm like, you can see his head? And then I was like, yeah, okay. So I thought, you know me, I was like, okay, once the head is out, like the doctor just pulls him out. So I was like, okay, so I was done. And I was just like, and then the doctor's like, what are you doing? Like, you need to keep pushing. And I was like, what? I kept pushing. I heard him crying. Insert picture here, but I'm gonna blur out the little section because you can see my little cauliflower. Then me and my baby daddy, we started crying. Like, we started crying. It was like happy tears for him, but for me it was happy tears, tired tears, frustrated tears, and pain tears. This picture, like, it looked like I was disgusted by my son, but in reality, because like once you're done and they like take out your placenta, they get like a scooper. It's like long, like it's like this long, right? They get like a scooper, and because like there's like little tiny like pieces of your placenta still in like your stomach and stuff, and then if they don't get it out, you could get an infection, you could go into surgery, you could die, all these possible outcomes if they keep the placenta in there. And keep in mind, the epidural wore off for me, okay? So I felt everything. So I felt the scooper scrape out the placenta. That's why my face is the way it is in that picture. But like I felt everything, like I felt it. And then he's like, does it hurt? And I'm like, oh yeah, like it hurts. And then he's like, why need to get it out? Would you rather me get it out right now and go through the pain for 5 more minutes, or come back in like a month or 2 and have to get surgery? You know, like what's it gonna be, A or B? And I was like, I'll do B. He's like, nah, well, you don't have a choice. He's like, does it really hurt that bad? I'm like, yeah, it hurts that bad, bitch. I'm just kidding, I did say bitch. I was like, yeah, like it hurts. He's like, oh, I wouldn't know. I'm like, of course you wouldn't know. He did that. He like scooped it out, and I was just like, ah. So he's like, so because it hurts, I'm gonna give you drugs, right? Okay, so he sent the nurse to go and get the drugs. But by the time the nurse came back with the drugs, my doctor was already done scooping me. Like, what did I need the drugs for? But the nurse didn't know, because the doctor was still there, and he was like still talking to me. The nurse didn't know, so she still gave me the drugs. And I didn't know either, because like she did it through like the IV. Well, like I saw her, but I just thought she was changing the IV bag because it was a little low, you know? So she thought that the doctor wasn't done like doing the scooper thing. She didn't know, so she still gave me the drugs, and then the drugs hit me like, they hit me hard and fast, because 5 minutes to me was actually an hour. So as the nurse was talking to me, because she was like, okay, you can finally eat. Like, what do you want to eat? Like, we could bring you something, or your baby daddy or your mom could go to the like McDonald's, or like go and get you something to eat. And I was like, the only thing that's open is McDonald's, and I don't want McDonald's. And she was like, okay, then what do you want? And I was like, well, what can you get me? And then she was like, we get you a sandwich. I want a sandwich. I want a sandwich. She left, and then she came back with the sandwich, and I thought, because in my mind I was like, oh, a sandwich, like Subway type sandwiches, you know. She came back with like just the bread and 1 slice of ham. That was it. And it was cold too. It was like super cold. But I was like, okay, whatever, I'm hungry, I'm still eat it. And then my baby daddy's like family came, like his brothers' wives, and like the nieces and nephews came at 11. I thought they were there for like 5 minutes. Like I said, like 5 minutes to me was actually an hour in real time. So I thought they were just, because I saw them come in, they gave me a hug, they saw my son. As soon as I like looked over, they were like already saying bye, and I was like, oh, okay, bye. They're at like 11, they left at like 12:30. So they were there for a good while, but I don't remember anything that happened. So that's the story of my labor and delivery. If you like this story, go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up, and then go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every single time I
post a new video.
Yeah, girl, she gets the deal, okay? And then go ahead and follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and add me on Snapchat.